Hello, welcome back to Learn Economia. We have done a video with respect to algebraic expressions. In this video, we'll be looking at algebraic functions. So after doing this video, you'll be able to understand whether algebraic functions are related to algebraic expression or are they the same, or something of that kind would be understood after watching this video and that video. I'll be providing the link of algebraic expression in the description box so that you will be able to get some kind of clarification with respect to both of these terms. Okay, I don't want to explain more and more about this. I would like to just go to the slides so that we can go to the content. So, um, since we are looking at algebraic functions in this particular video, before looking into what algebraic function is, let's understand what is a function. A function is actually a relationship between a set of inputs and permissible output. That means that you will be having input on one side and output on the other side. You are establishing a relationship between input and output. You know that output is a function of input. So that is a functional relationship. It has a property that each input is related to exactly one output. In the case of an algebraic function, it is a function which involves only algebraic operations. Algebraic operations in the sense we will be having mathematical operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, etc. Or we will be having some fractional or rational exponents. Let's understand a polynomial function first so that we can go to the different types of algebraic functions. What is a polynomial? First of all, we need to answer this question. A polynomial, or just see that a function p, p is considered to be a function. Here p is a polynomial. How can we consider p as a polynomial? For being a polynomial, p has to satisfy certain conditions. What is a condition? Here, in order to be a polynomial, p of x should be equal to an into x raised to n plus there are several terms in between. After that, plus a1x plus a0. So here we have to understand that we have terms like x terms, n terms and exponential terms, right? Here n is considered to be a non-negative integer, and all the a terms means a0, an, a1, etc. All these are considered to be constants. Okay, so these are actually coefficients of the polynomial. We have to understand the degree of polynomial. Now that is the question. What is the degree of polynomial? Degree of polynomial is the highest power present in the function. We will be having different types of function: a linear function, a quadratic function, a cubic function, a exponential function, etc. So in this video, we will be looking into the different types of function. First of all, we have to start with a linear function. A linear function or a linear polynomial. So this is of degree 1. That means that the highest power of the function would be 1. A linear function would form a straight line in the graph. You can see the figure here, and the figure here given is a straight line. So this is a perfect example of a linear function, and linear function would be given in the form of y is equal to ax plus b, where you can see that we have two variables, y and x. X and y are the two variables, and y is a dependent variable and x is a independent variable. Y is dependent on x in the sense that the value of y would depend upon the value of x. A is a coefficient and A and B are actually constants. Now coming to the quadratic function, after understanding the linear function, we have to understand what quadratic function is or what quadratic polynomial is. A polynomial of degree 2 is known as a quadratic function or a quadratic polynomial. quadratic polynomial, we won't say quadratic polynomial, actually we will say quadratic function. So it is a polynomial of degree 2. Here this polynomial, we have seen that in the case of a linear function, we will be having it in the form of y is equal to a x plus b. Here the highest power, since it is a since in a quadratic function the highest power is 2, here we can express this in the form of f of x is equal to ax square plus bx plus c. We have to understand that in this function a, b and c, these are numbers with a non-equal to 0. I mean that all these are numbers which is not equal to 0. In order to solve this quadratic equation, we can use a formula. That is, in order to find the value of x, we can use a formula minus b plus or minus root of b square minus 4ac by 2a. Here a, b and c are actually variables in the question. Variables in the sense that the value of a, b and c can change. Okay. These are the coefficients of x. That's it. A and b are coefficient of x and c is a constant. Here you are given a question x square minus 6x plus 8. Here you have the value of a, b and c. Here for a you have 1, b you have minus 6 and c you have 8. These are the values representing a, b and c. And this equation is in the form of a square plus bx plus c. That means that 1x square minus 6x plus 8. So in order to find the value of x, what you have to do is that we have to apply this equation minus b plus or minus root of b square minus 4ac by 2a. So instead of b, what we have is 6 minus 6, instead of c we have 8, and instead of a we have 1. Just substitute these values in the formula so that you will be getting 6 plus or minus root of minus 6 square minus 4 into 1 into 8 divided by 2 into 1. That means that 6 plus root 4 divided by 2. That means that 8 by 2, which is equal to 4. And that is the case of 6. That is the case of minus b plus. Or we have not minus b minus. So when we apply the formula minus b minus root of b square minus 4ac by 2a, we will be getting another answer, that is 4 divided by 2, which is 2. Here I would like to give more clarification to you. That means that we have to do both the ways. We have to do both minus b plus root of b square minus 4ac by 2a and minus b minus root of b square minus 4ac by 2a. So you will be getting two values for x. When we substitute these two values to the equation, what you get is that you will be getting 0. You can equate the equation to 0. That's it. Next, we are going on to cubic function. We have discussed linear function, we have discussed quadratic function, and now we are going to discuss cubic function. We have seen that linear equation or a linear function is a polynomial with a degree 1, that is the highest power of the function, and in the case of quadratic function, it is a polynomial with the highest power of 2. But in the case of cubic function, it is a polynomial with the highest power of 3. That's it. So here the function would be in the form of ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus t. You are given a very simple example here. X square plus 5x square minus 14x is equal to 0. You have to factorize this particular equation to find the value of x. In order to factorize the term, what you have to do is that we can see that in the equation here, x cube plus 5x square minus 14x equal to 0, you can see that x is a common term. So you take it outside the bracket. Since you are taking it outside the bracket, the remaining terms are x square plus 5x minus 14. So you are equating this to 0. So that is the term. Here we have to understand that you are just understanding that x into x square plus 5x plus 14 is equal to 0. That is the term that you have got. Now you can do that. You are just splitting the middle term. What is the middle term? 5x is the middle term. You are splitting the middle term. You know that 5x is equal to 7x minus 2x, right? 7x 2, why we have taken 7 and 2? Because we know that 7 into 2 is equal to 14. So 7 into minus 2 is equal to minus 14. So we have to get 14 as the figure here. So in such a manner we have taken these two numbers. So we are again going for the next step, that is x into x square plus 7x minus 2x minus 14 is equal to 0. We have splitted the middle term 5x, so that instead of 5x we are writing 7x minus 2x. There is no change in the value. So again we are taking x as a common factor, that is x into x plus 7 minus 2, which is taken as a common factor in the next two terms, x minus 7 is equal to 0. So the next step is x into x plus 7 and x minus 2 is equal to 0. So we will be getting three values here. First of all, x is equal to 0. That is the first term. That means that when you substitute 0 in the equation, you will be getting 0. Next, when you substitute minus 7 in the equation, you will be getting 0. And when you substitute 2 in the equation, you will be getting 0. So that is how we solve for cubic polynomial or cubic function. Next, exponential function. Exponential function, it is something that we could see in the real world situation. It is something that we use to compute the growth rate, investment, etc. An exponential function, it is simply a mathematical function in the form of f of x is equal to a raised to x, where x is a variable and a is a constant, and a is a constant which is a base in the function. Okay, and as a result the value of a should not be 0, it should be a number which is greater than 0. Coming to economic functions, we know that we have done a lot of video with respect to economic function. We have been specified that we are dealing with economic function, but whatever we do in whatever the video we do, with whether it is with respect to cost or revenue or whatever it may be, actually it is a functional relationship. For example, you can see that we have already discussed that output is a function of inputs. So we have to see that here we are taking the case of cost. Cost is a function of output. Your cost is something that will depend upon the level of output or the unit of output that is produced. So Q, which is output, Q represents here output, and TC is something which is known as a total cost. So total cost is a function of output. That's it. So that's all for today. Please like, share and subscribe to this channel for more videos. And I welcome you to my Telegram group and Telegram channel. You are welcome to both these initiatives to discuss your doubts. That's it. Thank you.